Ryan here with RWV MTB, and today we're going to review the Eminent Onset. Okay, so as you can see, I did have some fun with the bike. I took it out a couple different times at a couple different trails, but didn't want to post a ton of ride footage, just enough to let you know that I put it through its paces. So I wanted to go over some of the pros and cons of this bike. On the pro side, it is a great climber. It's a very efficient pedaler. The square tubing not only gives it a good aesthetic look, but it also means it puts the power down through a very stiff frame. Being that it's a 130-120 travel bike, it really is more of a cross-country trail setup in terms of suspension, even though the geometry is maybe a little bit more all-mountain. I did find that in some of the bigger rock gardens and some of the bigger drops, I was getting tossed around a little bit, and the back end felt a little bit overly happy. I did slow down the suspension dampening in the back, and that did seem to help a little bit. There is a big brother of this bike that's a 150-140 travel, and I would love to try that out, as I think it would be able to handle the trails I like to ride a little bit better. In terms of overall value, I think it's okay. The spec's not great for $4,700, but it's kind of at that bike shop level of value. And let's go through some of the components and features next. Okay, let's get into specifics on this bike. It is a full carbon frame. It has 120 mil of travel out rear and 130 up front, both by Fox Performance shocks. It has a full SLX drivetrain with the 12-speed. It has a nice chain guide, which is an added touch. Dior 2-piston brakes front and rear, which are, they get the job done. Pro Taper aluminum handlebar, which is quite wide at 810 millimeters, but you can always cut it. 50 mil stem, KS Lev dropper, which I'm not a huge fan of. Decent saddle. Solid wheels with the D13s and Maxxis Minion DHF and DHR. It has an integrated seat clamp, which is pretty cool compared to a normal collar style. It has pretty standard down tube carbon protector, and then it does use unidirectional carbon fiber tubing, which is nice. It has the AFS suspension, which kind of differentiates this bike, angular contact bearings, and a pretty decent internal cable management system, although the dropper is external. Looking at the geometry of the bike, it's pretty standard for a modern trail bike. Nothing too slacked out, with a 66.8 degree head tube angle, fairly steep 77 degree seat tube angle, and the reach at 471 millimeters on the large and XL is fairly standard. Chainstays are playful at 442 in the rear, and overall it is a very agile, fun, and capable trail bike geometry. So what's the verdict? I think if you're looking for a fun, nimble, fast, all-around trail bike that's great at climbing, has a unique look, and a really good stiff frame that's going to apply the power very efficiently, it's a good option. Price point, if you're paying full price at $4,700, it is a little tough to swallow, given that there's no Fox factory shocks, it's all performance level, and SLX drivetrain with Dior brakes isn't the best spec, although the 12-speed did shift really well from my experience. If you're looking to do more all-mountain and enduro riding, I would check out its big brother that's 150 mil up front and 140 in the rear. I think the geometry is pretty spot on with a modern trail bike, and I definitely had a lot of fun with it. I'd love to try one with a little bit more suspension and a little bit better spec in terms of the wheels and shifting. I think it would make a big difference. I think Eminent is definitely onto something with this bike. I had a lot of fun with it, and I would definitely ride one again. So hopefully that helps. Thank you for tuning in to RWV MTV with another review. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.